In this video, I'm going to show you the designs of a cash value life insurance policy. And I'm going to show you one that has a beneficial cash accumulation design and one that has kind of a messed up or not maximized cash accumulation design. In some of my past videos, you might have heard me talk about the concept known as F.L.I.P or flexible lifetime interest program, where I talk about ways on how to earn money or interest on things that you spend money on every single day. But today I'm not going to focus on that design. I'm going to just talk about a general solid design when it comes to structuring an index universal life insurance policy and what you should look out for if you're on the market looking for something like this. What are some of the key things that make this policy structured so in the future you actually could have some decent cash accumulation to reach some of your financial goals. So this is just for the purpose of making the public more informed of the decisions they're making before they decide to get into one of these contracts, because essentially these are long-term contracts. These are contracts you can have for your entire life. So you might want to, before you get into a policy like that, you might want to really make sure you understand what you're buying and you understand how to use it properly to maximize the efficiency of the contract that you're getting into. And if you already have one, this is just gonna be to show you maybe if your policy was designed correctly for max cash accumulation or things of that sort. So first, I'm gonna start off with a poorly designed index universal life insurance policy. And by poorly designed, I just mean it's not designed for max cash efficiency. And you're gonna see what I mean in a second. So generally what you want to do when it comes to maximizing the cash component of your index universal life policy is you want the least amount of insurance and the most amount of cash that you could put in that the IRS will legally allow you to get away with, while you're still keeping your tax benefits and things of that sort when it comes to getting established in a life insurance contract. But as you can see, I'm going to pull it up on my screen right here. This is a policy of someone who's 25 years old is contributing about $500 a month or $6,000 a year. And as you can see over here, if you look all the way towards the right, you can see something called cash surrender value. So that essentially means how much money you have access to maybe take care of emergency expenses, or if you want to use some of that money to invest outside of the policy or spend on something. So this money that's yours essentially. So as you can see in the first 2 years of this policy, there's 2 zeros, which are two really big red flags when you're looking at an index universal life insurance policy, because you really want to pay attention to the cash growth of this thing, because a lot of times people get into these contracts with the objective of wanting to grow their money. They don't want to necessarily just have an insurance policy. They want to have a policy that's going to maybe be a better savings account alternative or things like that in the future. But if you don't have any access to any cash value in the first 2 years, that's kind of a red flag, and that might tell you that your policy wasn't designed for max cash efficiency as it should have been, or based on your goals for what most people want. I would assume that they would rather have more cash growth than less. And there's more efficient ways to cover your insurance needs or wants without having to use a index universal life insurance policy to cover the entire death benefit. But a lot of agents or advisors, they don't really talk about those ways. But I'm not going to get too much into that in this video. I'm just going to tell you what to look out for when it comes to purchasing one of these contracts, and what you should do and what questions you should ask when it comes to pursuing a contract like this. So the first thing is there's 2 zeros the first 2 years. That's a big thing. And as you can see over here, the death benefit says $800,000. So if you consider someone that's 25 years old having $800,000 worth of death benefit and only putting $500 a month of premium, that means that they're paying a lot more in insurance fees than they have to, a lot more. If you can see all the way at the bottom over here where it says 45, about this, so that's 20 years later, the client would have contributed about $120,000 into this policy, and the client would have about $163,000 of cash value in this policy. So it still grows above the basis of what you contributed. But if I show you the next design, I would think that most people wouldn't want to get a design like this. The only reason people would get a design like this is because they're not presented with the full information of what they could have if they structured it in a more beneficial way. Now, if you look at this design, which is a max funded cash value life insurance contract, basically, if you look at this, this is the same example of someone that's 25 putting $6,000 a year into this policy. And the cash value from year one is about $5,000. So the client would essentially have access to about 80% of the cash value of the life insurance policy, considering it's structured this way. And as you can see, the death benefit is significantly less than the last one, which was $800,000, and this it's only $150,000 worth of death benefits. And this is what I was talking about before. You want the least amount of insurance that you can get with the most amount of cash that you could put into the contracts to maximize the cash growth of it, because if you have a higher death benefit, you're just going to be paying more insurance costs and fees, because it's going to cost the insurance company more to insure you for that larger death benefit. And basically, you'd keep that client would keep that 80 to 90% liquidity throughout the entire life of the contract. As you can see over here, the client will always have access to money, and it'll be safe from market risk, tax risk, and inflation, because it's going to be growing at about an average rate. What I have this illustrated at is about 6%, or 5.70% is what I'm showing you here right now, illustration rate. And it's not extremely aggressive or anything like that. It's just a rate that I'm showing that isn't crazy when it comes to an index universal life insurance contract. 6% is around industry average for contracts like this. And if you scroll all the way down to year 20, if you look at when the client reaches age 45, if the client just keeps saving money into this policy, the client will have about $200,000 or $198,000 to be exact in this policy to take care of any type of expenses, retirement, supplemental retirement, or whatever they want. And think about it like this: there's things that happen in life. When you have problems, opportunities, and other things that happen to you along the way, if the market crashes or something happens, if you're just investing in the stock market, if you just have a brokerage account and the market crashes, it's just a bad idea to take out money from your brokerage account. But here in a life insurance policy where you're protected against market loss, you could access the money free from market risk or anything like that. And it's not in some type of retirement account where you have to lock it away up until 59 and a half. So it gives a lot more flexibility. So this is a really good savings account alternative when it's structured the right way. And this is not, like I said, this is not what I was talking about before when it comes to turning your expenses into cash, but it's just a design on how you could structure an index universal life insurance policy as a savings alternative. And you could use it for things like future problems, opportunities that might arise in the future without having to lock up your money until 59 and a half. So it gives you a lot more flexibility than a lot of other tax shelters that you could put your money in. If you want to learn more about designs about IULs and things of that sort, and you're thinking about potentially having one of these for yourselves, feel free to book a discovery call. There's a link in the description below where you can contact me through the Linktree description, and you could book a discovery call, and I could ask you a few questions about your financial situation to see if something like this is a fit for you. And if you want to learn more, I post financial content every single week. So if you're ever interested about different types of financial concepts or financial products, I'm essentially on every single social media platform. So if you're interested in personal finance, this is the type of channel you'd want to follow. Thank you.